The United States of America is the famous land of hope and opportunities. Hard work, grit, inventiveness, and determination combine to make America a choice destination and home to all races, irrespective of culture and color. The United States of America covers about 9,629,000 square kilometers, spread across 50 states and a federal district and 5 territories. It is one of the 4 largest countries. A country with great export potential. The U.S. is the world's largest producer of maize, wheat, sugar, and tobacco. It also produces cars, airplanes, and electronics. In more than 200 years of existence, the United States continues to be home to many migrants from across the world, and Americans have shown themselves to be very receptive people.
They are friendly. They go out of their way, the common people, when you are in need, to help you.
An average American on the streets, I would say they're pretty friendly, yeah.
When you are walking in the street and you face one of them, even you don't know him or her, or she don't know you or her, she will just give you or he or she will give you a smile without both of you know each other.
There are a lot of people that are very generous in terms of giving. If you look at the amount of dollars given in this country every year from charities to nonprofits, it's an astounding number.
Experiences and researches have shown that an average American has a kind and nice nature, has a wonderful character, and treats fellow human beings with respect and dignity. But all these lofty attributes are contrary to the perception from some quarters. Indeed, many blame America for the unending wars in some countries around the world, particularly in the Middle East and parts of Africa.
The bad image that people around the world have about Americans is due to the acts of their government, as they send their army to many countries to kill and destroy and steal the resources.
In America's desire to pursue power, that America has done a lot of wrong, right, in the world. But in that same plight, it's done some good in the world, right? So again, that balance. But yes, I mean, America has been at the root of different injustices in the world.
Americans back home are very good, nice, and kind-hearted people. But when it comes to international politics, I am sure about Americans wants to be recognized as the world leader, want to be known in every other country, by any other culture, by any other person, as we are the top. Nobody can do what we can do. So, and that might be interpreted by other people as Americans being bad.
Professor Kent Collins is a journalism lecturer at the University of Missouri in the U.S. Kent is an American who believes Americans' influence on their government is insufficient and could be one of the major reasons for the United States' poor reputation outside its shores.
Most people are desperately unhappy with our federal government, and still the federal government continues to operate like it has for many years. People in Congress are supposed to represent their constituents back home, their voters back home, and oftentimes they do not, or they have a misconception of what their constituents want and need.
I think that it's probably a lot to do with our foreign policy and how we do view other countries. A lot of times Americans go into other countries thinking that their life is the right life to live. We go into other countries and we try to make them better, where they don't really want that. They believe they can handle it themselves.
We are suspicious and nervous about people beyond the oceans. That dates back to our earliest times when Americans were people who were running away from things in Europe and in Asia. Americans that came here, first the Europeans, later the Asians, came here to get away from a bad home life. And they wanted the oceans as protection. So now we feel a certain distance from cultures and countries far away. America is controlled by two interests, not one. America is controlled by a political interest, and that in turn is often controlled by a financial interest. So we look at the rest of the world not so much from a political standpoint, but from a capitalistic standpoint. If you have oil and we need oil, we don't care about your politics, we just care about your oil. Now that's not always true. We have some human rights issues. We have an interest in people being treated nicely and fairly and all that.
But Kent is not too bothered by his country's perceived negative reputation. He argues that the U.S. provides foreign aid to poor nations more than other countries in the world.
We give, out of my pocket, assistance and kindness to people like no other country in terms of total dollars. That's not evil. You have suggested in this question that America instigates wars. Well, I think good historians could go back and say we instigated that one and instigated this one. I'm a good student of history and I see some of that. But we don't instigate all wars. We didn't instigate Biafra, did we? Killed 1 million of your people. I didn't instigate that, did I? America had nothing to do with that. We didn't instigate Hitler. We didn't instigate Mao Zedong. Now, have we instigated some wars? Yeah. A lot of them we haven't.
Like other growing countries, the US suffers huge criticism not only from other countries' citizens, but from its own people.
Iraqis will comfortably tell you that things were better when Saddam was in power. And after the US went in, Iraqi freedom to liberate the Iraqi people, essentially, to bring democracy, to get rid of the dictatorship. But then what happened now, you had immense instability for years upon years, and then you have radical groups and militant groups taking power. And now it's just, people can easily say that it was better before US involvement.
Americans' poor reputation outside the US has been largely blamed on government policies and actions. Americans can only hope that pretty soon more people-friendly foreign policies will come out from this noble edifice called the White House that will earn the Americans their desired reputation. Ahmed Alaofin, TVC News, Washington, D.C.